But for people that don't want to follow the truth, they make excuses. And they tell you, well, you know, the scripture is not for today, or it's for back then, or it's for, you know, times past. But when they want to live and to reap the benefits, they want to take what the word is saying today. But then when they don't want to obey, they say, well, it's for the children of Israel back in the days. And how we could maneuver things that we want to take and how we could disregard things that we don't want. So today I want to talk to you about the things that are so important to the Master. He will repeat it over and over. He will come to us. So I'm not really trying to preach no hard message to you, because I want you to really pay attention. And for the listening audience, I want you to get this and really learn something from it. And stop making excuses, because Israel is very good at making excuses. Israel, we love to take from things and what benefit us. And if we don't think it's working for us, then we want to throw it aside. So today I want to turn to Deuteronomy chapter 26. We're going to start off there in Deuteronomy chapter 26. That is 2:14 in the scriptures. So let's just go there. And as we talk about this lesson today, share it with your friends, and share it with other Hebrews, and share it with other people, so they can't come out from. So the plan of the devil, the enemy, is to keep us ignorant. His plan is to make us doubt. And when things are not in our favor, to make us have excuses. And to bring us to a place where we doubt in the word, although we read in it, but we still doubt it. So, because we want to tell the master what we should accept. We want to tell him what we should do. And then you would see as we go along in the scripture today, that if you're spiritually minded, you can interpret this and know that the master wanted for our generation and want us to have a good, sound knowledge and understanding about his word, so we can not stay in the position that we are in, the condition that we are in, that we could change our circumstances by just being obedient, by being obedient to his word and knowing his word. So again, I said in Deuteronomy, Devarim, chapter 26. Let's start there. And it shall be, when you come into the land which Yahweh, your Elohim, is giving you as an inheritance, and you possess it and dwell in it, that you shall take some of the fruit of the first of all the fruits of the soil, which you bring from your land that Yahweh, your Elohim, is giving you, and shall put it in a basket, and go to the place where Yahweh, your Elohim, chosen to make his name dwell there. So it's instruction, and it's instruction with a command. So we must understand, he is not asking us for opinion. He is not trying to argue a point with us, or telling us, or asking us what we think. This is not a choice question, whether or not you feel you should answer it or not. He has given us a command and instruction on his command, what we should do and how we should go about doing it. In verses 3, And you shall come to the one who is priest in those days, and say to him, I shall declare today to Yahweh, your Elohim, that I have come to the land which Yahweh swore to our fathers to give us. So he said, you should go to the priest. Now, in our day and time, we have Kohens that in Hebrew are priests, or we have leaders that we call pastors, because the word has said that in the script that some he called pastors and prophets. So there are leaders that are responsible in order of carrying out this command and making sure that all of the people are on board and understand and have understanding of the command, and making sure they are following the instructions. Now, I heard Hebrews, and I heard other people that want to argue the scriptures and don't want to follow the truth of the word. This is what they would say. Well, we have no Levites today. But I'm going to show you something else that you're missing. Because it wasn't just for the Levites or the Levites, it was for the priests also. And if you have a priest in your temple, or you have a pastor in your congregation that is teaching the truth, then he is the person who you bring the offerings to in order of carrying out the commands of the master. So you can't say, well, there is no Levites anymore, so we don't do or follow the commands. But what's about the priests? Because he mentioned the priests, and he mentioned, and here else what he mentioned. Listen to what he said. He says, so you go to the priest in those days and say to him, I shall declare today to Yahweh our Elohim that I have come to the land which Yahweh swore to our fathers to give us. And the priest shall take the basket from your hand and place it before the slaughter place of Yahweh your Elohim. And you shall answer and say before Yahweh your Elohim, my father was a perishing Aramean, and he went down to Mitzrayim, to Akebulan, Africa, as some of you may have known, and sojourned there with few men. And there he became a nation, great, mighty, and numerous. So because of his obedience, because of his stand, because that he has followed the commands of the master, that is what declared him to become a nation. That is what has given the assurance, and that is how he became great, is by obeying the master and by taking the first fruits and bringing it to the house of the master. So you see how important it is to do first fruits. How he will then take what you have given, that was given to you, and then bring it back to him in order to make connection. Because one thing I want to share with you today, the key to starting the process of returns. So let's say there is a vehicle of returns, or a vehicle of gifts that is going to come back to you. But in order for the gifts, because the master said that his gifts is in his hand, and he is bringing his gifts to give to those who has worked for it. So in order to get the gift, you have the key. In order of driving the vehicle that will bring back the gifts to you, you must then put the key to that vehicle. And the key to that vehicle, it is called sowing and reaping. The key to that vehicle is called giving. Give, and it shall be given back to you. That's the key. The key is what? Giving. So when you give, it's not going away from you, is just starting the vehicle to come back to you.
That's right.
Oh, some of you missed that.
That's right.
The key that you have in your hand, you can't go around driving around and floating in the air with a key. You need a vehicle. So when you have your keys, some of you take your car keys and just hold your car keys in your hand. I'm not asking you right now, but I'm saying in your spare time. Take your car keys and hold it in your hand and tell the keys to take you to a mall. And see how far you're going to get without using the car. You will not get any place. But if you want to take the key and you want to connect it with the car, you have made connection with the car.
That's right.
So now the car can get started with the key in order to get you on your journey. Mm-hmm. Oh, this is powerful. Some of you got to check this again. You have the key. And the key that you have is your first fruits. The key that you have is your offering. The key that you have is your tithe. The key that you have is what you turn your vehicle on with. How do I get my return? Well, take what you have in your hand and sow it unto the master. Take what you have in your hand and start the vehicle so you can get the return. You are not giving away anything. All you're doing is starting up your blessing. And how do you start up your blessing? I sold my keys into the hands of the master, and he drives my vehicle or drove my vehicle back to me, which is my gifts. He's bringing my gifts of my harvest back to me. But I was the driver, the one that was initiating the key into the ignition switch in order to get my blessing.
That's right. That's right. Hallelujah.
I start the process. As long as you keep that key on the shelf, as long as you keep that key in your pocket, as long as you keep that key in your wallet, you are not going to have a return of success. You are not going to get a harvest because you did not start the engine.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So all you're left with, I don't care how beautiful your car looks. I don't care how beautiful the key look or how well designed the key look. The car is not going to move anywhere unless you put the key to the ignition switch and turn it. And then you can say, well, now I can enjoy a ride. Now I can say I can enjoy a harvest. Now I can enjoy the fruits of my labor. Unless I take my seed and sow it into the ground, which is the vehicle, my seed is the key. I must put it into the ignition switch and turn it so that the soil can bring back a blessing to me. Well, let's take that. Because some of you are going to say, well, you know, first fruits is great. And first fruits is only soil and grain that come from the soil. That's an excuse that the devil has given you. And you enjoy the excuse that he gave you. So you hold on to the excuse because you don't want to give, but you have the key. And you want to go places, but you don't want to start the car. You want to go places, but you don't want to initiate anything. You don't want to put what you have in the hands of the master so he can turn that switch on for you so your blessing can come back. How are you going to get a blessing if you just hold on to the key? How are you going to reap a harvest?
Can't.
Well, I'll tell you what. Even the dealer, people have found out something. They have found out something. They have found out that you hold the key. So they start negotiating with you. Let me tell you how the devil do it and how he takes away what you have. You have bought your car and you got your car note, but you ain't got no money because you don't see the value of your own car because now you're negotiating like, you know, Esau negotiated with his brother for a bowl of lentil beans. He negotiated his birthright. So now you go to the, let's say, those money places. How do you call them again? The advanced money places? Cash and check, or check cash in place. You go to the check cash in place, and you don't even know the value of your own car. And they tell you, Well, I'll loan you $500. You just got to sign over the title right now and give me the key. They know that you don't have because you didn't have it in the first place. And chances are you won't have it to come back and get that car. And they're going to keep your property. They got your key. They got your note. They got it, so they got your car. So they will enjoy your vehicle or pass it on to their family members or sell it. And you have the key. You have the power in your hand. So the devil come in and make a negotiation with you. And he's going to negotiate with you and he's going to tell you, well, you don't have to give your first fruits. You could take that and you could go buy yourself some new furniture. You could take that and you could go pay down on a piece of property. You could take that and you could go and buy yourself a house. He's negotiating with you. Because he knows the moment time you do that, you give up your rights. And you no longer have the power to reap a harvest. You no longer have the power to negotiate with the master who created all things, who have covenanted you. You no longer have that voice to come to him. So we're going to get into the word because I'm going to show you some things that's just going to blow your mind today. You're going to be like, wow.
Can I ask a question? Can I?
Go ahead.
Yeah. If somewhere in that first sentence where it says take some of the first of the fruits of the soil, I don't know what they mean by some, and then it talks about the land that they gave him, and maybe you can explain how that land ties in with the
We got the air on. Can we?
Okay. When it says some of the first fruits, Pastor?
Yes, I'm going to.
Then when it talks about the land, like
we're going to talk about that.
Ties in with America.
We're going to talk about all of that. So turn the air on for me, please. Thank you.
I see that.
So we in verse 6, but I'm gonna answer the brother question because it's a trick from the devil and a play of words that some people have got themselves trapped in because they don't understand the word sum off. Because the word sum off didn't mean that you take off a portion of it, because when you're talking of first fruits, anytime you take off of the first fruits, it's no longer a first fruit. Anytime you take out, and that's most people's problem because their heart is not in line with the master, so they can't understand that because the word said that a carnal-minded person cannot understand the things of the Spirit. So let me break that down for you. Anytime you take something out of a whole, it is no longer a whole. And the master wants the whole first fruit. He don't want you to take it off it, because if you take off it, it is not a first fruit. It is considered a tithe once you take off it. Off in that case will not mean that you are separating. Now, how would you use that if you had one lamb? If you had one lamb, would you take off that one lamb and give him a leg, or give him 3 legs of the lamb and keep one for yourself, because that's the first fruit? He wants the whole lamb. He wants the whole animal. Now, when you give a first fruits, we say anything that opened the womb or anything that come through the trees that bear first. Now, as a mother, you have one child, and the master is asking for that child for your first fruits. Will you then keep half of the child and give him half? So you can say, well, I give off my first fruit. The word off just simply means that is what he's asking for. Give me all of what you got. All of what you got just simply means that I'm giving him everything. All of what I got. So if I have plums, I give him all of the plums. If I have bananas, I give him all of the bananas. If I have mangoes, I give him all of the mangoes. Now he talks about the land. Well, that's where a lot of Hebrews get trapped up. And that's one of the things I was talking about. There's a Hebrew sister who also broke this down on YouTube, and she broke it down, and she's talking to some of the brothers, because brothers don't think that women should teach in the house of Yah. And again, that's another heresy and another trick from the devil. Now, let me tell you something about how we do this. Now, we talk about the land. Well, most of us today was slave children. or children that came from our ancestors who came through slavery and who are now in this 21st century. And even during slavery, they promised us 40 acres and 2 mules or something like that. And we still haven't received a dime. We haven't received any land. We have no mules. We have nothing. So we have no land and we have no mules. But we do have something that some of us, we work and we have a job. And the master did say, and we're going to break it down as I go. He said that all of your labor must you bring to him. All of it. He didn't say bring some of your labor. So we're going to get there. Because I want to make this plain. That's why I'm doing the teaching today. So those that are confused and are getting manipulated by other corrupted teachers and are out there bringing this heresy and bringing this satanic teaching that you don't pay your first fruits, and the first fruit was grain, and it was for the Levites. Well, what's about the priests? Well, what's about the widow? What's about the orphan? What's about the people that are still left that need to be receiving the word, accepting so the master can still get his praise? Because that is still a point for us to do throughout our generations. Well, the generation have not ended yet. So we still are part of the generation that have to do what was commanded. So let's continue. So pay attention to that, verse 6. In verse 6 he said, but the Mitzrayim did evil to us and afflicted us and imposed hard labor on us. There we cry out to Yahweh, Elohim of our fathers. And Yahweh heard our voice and saw our affliction and our toil, our oppression. And Yahweh brought us out of Mitzrayim with a strong hand and with an outstretched arm, with great fear and with signs and wonders. And he brought us to this place, and he gave us this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. Well, most of us, we are not in the land yet. We have not returned to the land yet. But we cannot use one scripture and just look at one scripture and say, well, you see, this is talking of the land. But he also instructed the Israelites, wherever they go, throughout the nations that he had scattered them, to keep his commands from there. So wherever we go, we are in boot camp and in training. And we must practice in order that our heart don't become callous and hard against the master, and learn the ways of other nations. Because if we do learn the ways of other nations, we will not honor the master. So that's why he wants us to continue doing what was supposed to be done even when we are away from the land. So we are not caught up in the ways of the heathen. We are not caught up in the ways of the pagans or the other nations. So let's pay attention to what he said. In verse 10 he says, and now see, I have brought the first fruits. Hear this now. He is qualifying it now. So here we say, I have brought the first fruits of the land. So he didn't, now, to answer your question right here, brother, he did not say right here that you should bring off the first fruits. Now he's qualifying. He said the first fruit of the land. So now, would you say then you take a portion of the land and give to him, and the rest of the land you don't give? He said no, the first fruit of the land. So that word of does not mean that it's just a portion that you give to him. That meaning that you take out of the very land that you're in, you take off it and you bring to him what was given to you. I'm getting it. No prophetess, thank you. So listen to what he says. He said, so, and now see, I have brought the first fruits of the land, which you, O Yahweh, has given me. So he said, what was given to me, I brought. Not what was given to your neighbor, or not what was given to somebody else. What was given to me? Well, in this case, you would see that brothers are teaching, and people are teaching, and it's in the word, but it takes 2 or 3 witnesses to establish a thing. So, you would see that the scripture said 3 times in the year that the male come before him, and they would bring of their first fruits. Now, let me put this here. In this particular chapter here, it did not mention male at all, or the male should bring. In this scripture, he mentioned that the people should bring. So he did not separate it who should bring in this particular chapter of scripture. So check this out. So hear what he says. He said, O Yahweh has given me. He said, then you shall, he said to the place, okay, he said, then you shall place it before Yahweh, your Elohim, and bow down before Yahweh, your Elohim, and shall rejoice in all the good which Yahweh, your Elohim, has given to you and your house. So now, let's answer the question, brothers. Is only the male supposed to give? Because he just said you and your house. So that means every person residing in your house that has a first fruits must bring to the master, not just the man. The man, in some cases, in the particular one scripture, is representing his household. And he cannot bring everything in a basket. He cannot just bring all of the bananas that was bare from the tree. He can't bring all of the banana, thousands of grove of bananas. He can bring all of that to the house of Yah and pour it down in front of the priest. He can't do that. There is not enough trucks, and there weren't no trucks. There is not enough camels to bring all of those fields of bananas. And not only bananas, he don't have only bananas. He got orange trees and orange groves. And he got papayas. And he got cucumbers. And he got all kinds of fruits that is beared in the field. So in order for him to represent all of these different fruits, he must take a sheaf. And a sheaf is a portion that he can put in the basket and he could bring into the house of Yah so the priest can wave it. So all of the other bananas will be blessed because he has taken from that. That's where you get off from. He has taken off a sum of the bananas to bring to the house of Yah. So all of the rest of the land will then be blessed. That's where the off coming right now. Of these bananas, you bring a sheaf. So all of your blessing can be blessed. I can't bring all of the grain, but I could bring some of the grain in order to represent all of the grain. You got this. I can bring all of it, but I bring some of it to represent all of it. I hope you get it.
Unless you got a big safe at home and you got billions of dollars, then you can't bring it all.
We coming. We coming. And I just thought about that, and the moment time I thought about that, she gonna say it. And I'm telling you, about she just on it, gonna preach what I'm in my mind. But let's go. Because most people that have safe in their house have it anchored down. You can't bring the whole safe. Especially if you got millions and millions of dollars. You don't want to bring all of that. You know, you're gonna have to have some bodyguards. And people gonna know that you got some money, you got all this bodyguards with you. And you're coming with all this truckload of money loaded up on your truck. Somebody gonna be waiting for you. So you bring some of it at the time. Or you can just write a check for all of it. So you just have one check, what you want to do. But I'm getting there. Let's go. Because I got many more scriptures that I want to share with you, but I don't want to make the take too long, because I want to bring that teaching so people can get it. So check this out. Verses 11, right? In verses 11, the problem that we have, and the reason why we can't turn on the vehicle to get the blessing on the harvest, is this verse right here. This verse right here is a verse that energizes your giving. It's a verse that energizes your return. So if you don't understand why you gave your first fruits and you don't get a return, is this verse right here. What does the verse say? He said, and shall rejoice in all the good which Yahweh your Elohim has given you. Have you rejoiced in your giving? Or did you give with your mouth look like you suck lemons? Or you pull up through a straw, you're sucking abscess? Did you give with a stiff neck that your brain want to cause you to have a heart attack or a stroke because you gave and it's too much to give to the master? He want all of that, and I'm going to bring all of my money to the pastor or the priest. I'm going to give them all of that. Well, listen, what you have is just peanuts compared to what he gives you. What he gives back to you is nothing compared to what you give to him. Your little couple of hundreds or a couple of $1,000s is nothing. If you do it right, he will give you millions. But how can he give you millions when you can't even give him a few hundreds? You want to drive in a Lexus, but all the money that you invest in and every place you go, you want to drive in a big Rolls Royce, but you go in and shop at the let me tell you what those pay here now, buy here, pay here car lot. Well, I don't think those buy here, pay here car lot is going to have some Rolls Royce and Bentleys. And you're going to have a key. If you pay for a Pinto, don't expect to get a Bentley rider. Or don't expect to get a ride of a Rolls Royce. Because you paid for a Pinto. If you paid for a Rolls Royce and you gave a Rolls Royce money, you're going to enjoy a Rolls Royce riding. If you bought a mansion, you're going to enjoy living as a king because you got a mansion. But guess what? If you buy yourself a little 2x4 and that's what you have your faith to do, and you have a little 2x4 with some holes in the roof and rain come, don't complain that it's raining on you. Don't complain that the wind is blowing your little straw houses. No, that's what you believe. That's what you gave for. So that's what the master gave back to you. He said, as a man give, so shall he receive. With what measure he give, that will be given back to him. So if your measure is you're going to give him half of your first fruits, then your return is going to be a tip of what you could have received. And if your giving is that I am just not going to obey the word, the master don't even want it. He don't even want what you have because he says he's going to blow on it. It's going to be a curse to you. It's not going to benefit you when you are in disobedience and trying to walk in a blessing. It don't happen that way. So let's go. Oh, it's kind of quiet in here, but it's okay. I preach to myself. I preach to the chicks. It's okay. So hear what he says right here. He said, and shall rejoice in all of the goods which Yahweh your Elohim has given to you and your house. You. Underline that. You. Who is you? And the Levites. So don't just tell me that it's only for the Levites and we don't have no Levites. So what's about you? Because he just underlined, he just make it right there. You. And the Levites, and the stranger. So when he put and there, that means there is somebody else. It's not just the Levites. Some come in and say, well, there is no Levite, so I'm not bringing my money. Well, what's about the priest? What's about the widow? What's about his house? So hear what he said. The Levites and the stranger who is among you. He said, and when you have completed tithing all the tithes of your increase, there it goes, all the tithes. Did it say some of the tithes? Did it say a portion of the tithes? He said all of the tithes. Did it say where your increase came from? Did he say that your increase was only supposed to be from the land? Well, if your increase was only supposed to be from the land, how many acres do you have? Because we get into something here. How many acres do you own? How many land do you have? Where is your fruits? Where is your first fruits? Where is your fruits from your tree that you labor from, that you're supposed to be bringing in on the appointed time? What is going to be your first fruits? Because he said you shall not come into his house empty-handed. So what is it you're going to bring? Because you got no land. So tell me what you're going to bring. You got no land. You got no garden. You got nothing to bring. So that means you don't come into his house then in that season. Because he said don't come before him empty-handed. So what is it you're going to bring? If your argument is that the first fruit is grain and it's from the land, but you got no grain and you got no land. So tell me what you're going to bring. Okay, let's go. We get in there. Bear with me, people. Because I'm teaching this. And I want you to know it because there is a lie that have gone out. And it gone out to Israel because the devil trying to keep you from a blessing. So the lie is that you don't need to pay first fruits. And as a matter of fact, you don't need to do all of it. And as a matter of fact, you don't need to do tithes. But if the word just tell you here that you do all of the tithes, when you complete it, that means you have looked at every single place that you have worked and every single earnings that you have earned, and then you made sure that you calculate everything, because now in this passage, he's giving you time. He said when you complete it, that means he gave you time to look and see what you had. So you can bring everything. He's not saying just bring what you could grab, and then you grab it and blab it, and name it and claim it. He didn't say that. He said bring it all to him. The increase in the third year, in which, he said, which is the year of tithing, and having given to the Levites, comma. So let's look at that. Having given to the Levites, comma, that means one person, or one set of people. To the strangers, comma, that is another set of people. To the fatherless, comma, another set of people. And to the widows, comma. So if you have no Levites right here existing anymore, and some people want to argue, do you have fathers? Fatherless? Do you have strangers? Do you have widows? Oh.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
And they have eaten within your gates and have been satisfied. So he's not expecting other people to feed them. He's expecting you to take care of them.
That's right.
Stop putting your grandparents in the nursing home. Stop putting your family members in the nursing home because you don't want to spend money for them and have other people taking care of them. But in those days, we were able to take care of our own. We were able to take care of our own people because we had enough and because we trust them enough, because we cared. And we didn't just let anybody just take care of them. Because the word said that there should be no other nation ruling over us. There should be no other nation having charge over us. So we should be the one doing the things for our grandparents and our great-grandparents. We shouldn't be just passing them along to somebody else because they don't know how to care for your people as you know how to care for your people. They're going to throw them in the nursing home and they're going to feed them with pork. They're going to throw them in the nursing home, they're going to give them shrimp. They're going to throw them in the nursing home, they're going to give them crab. They're going to throw them in the nursing home and they're going to treat them like garbage.
That's right.
They're not going to care for them like you would care for them.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
But if we don't have your sustenance, if we don't have your first fruit, your tithes and your offering, and the storehouse of the master is filled and running over, if we don't have the security, if we don't have the things that we as a people can take care of our own people, how are we going to be able to do all of these things? That's why we're going to find ourselves being broke, busted, and disgusted. So the next thing we got to do is to depend on the government to take care of our own. That's why they're going to feed your own what they want to feed them. That's why they're going to use whatever toothpaste or lotion they're going to put on them with pigs in it. That's why they're going to treat you like that and your ancestors like that. because you are the ones that know how to care for them. You know what, especially if the Hebrew Israelites, and they've been eating right for the last 50 or 60 years, and now they can't do it anymore, and you give them up to some Gentile nation, to some other race of people to care for them, and they just give them whatever. It's an abomination.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Praise yeah.
I ain't hearing too many praises up in here.
Hallelujah.
And check this, what he says here. He says, so you bring all of the tithes, you bring all of this, you're all satisfied. He said, then you shall say before Yahweh, your Elohim, I have put away the set apart portion. You have put away the set apart portion. You have what? Put away the set apart portion. That means you have stored it up for the time. Some of you will ask me the question, well, how can we pay first fruits and still have money to live on? Because you've been putting aside the set apart portion. Because you've been storing up. Because you've been putting aside things that you know that is going to, when the time comes and you need to bring your first fruit, you already paid yourself. You already stored up righteous things. You already kept some good things on the side. You know what you're doing, and you set the set apart portion so you can bring it before the house of Yah. Check this out. I get ready to wrap it up. I may have to continue another series to have tape number 2, because there is so much in the next one that I couldn't, and even this one, I can't finish it all the way. So I may have to cut it short, and then next week we may have to continue this, because we're in the season of tithes and first fruits and offering. So listen here what he says. Let's check this out. It says, and the stranger is comma, the fatherless, comma, the widows, comma, according to all your commands, you commanded, which you have commanded me. I have not transgressed your commands. So hear what he said. I have not transgressed your commands. So what is a transgression? Let's see what the transgression could be. I have not forgotten. So forgetting his commands is a transgression. Forgetting his commands or not doing it is a transgression. So people that decided that they're not going to do first fruits are transgressing his command or breaking his command. So let's see what else could happen, because they give an account, and so you must check yourself and see if you can give an account. I have not eaten. That means you didn't take it to buy groceries. You didn't take it to go to the restaurant with it. You haven't taken his first fruits and the tithes and the offering and went and eat it. These people rather to starve than to touch the first fruits. You hear what I'm saying? They rather starve and go hungry than to break his commands, because they said, we have not. I have not forgotten. They make sure that during the time they kept it in mind. I have not eaten any of it. When in mourning, he said, listen, in mourning, that means I have some problems. I have sorrow. I have needs. But even in my needs, even in my mourning, I have not eaten out of it. Some people say, well, I had to do it because I had to pay my rent. I have not touched it. I did not touch it. I have not broken the commands. I did not touch it. I didn't eat from it. I have not eaten from it. Even in my mourning. Well, what is a mourning? Well, I have some suffering in my life. My children is hungry. My family members need something. I'm mourning. I'm going through. But I still have not touched it.
Yes, sir. Praise yeah.
Hear what it says. It said, nor have I removed any of it for any unclean use. I have not used anything of it for any unclean use. I didn't go to the movies with it. I didn't go buy, have pleasure with it. I didn't go pay my rent with it. I didn't go pay my light bill with it. I didn't go do any of this. of the use, nor given any of it for the dead. Even when people dead, I didn't use it for funeral use. I didn't buy a casket with it. Well, it's my mother died. It's my daddy died. And we have to get a casket, and we have to pay for the burial, and we have to make funerals arrangement. I did not use it for that use. I did none of it. You're talking about obedience? Man, that is powerful. You're talking about, listen, Abraham, go kill your son Isaac, your only son. Yes, master, I will, because he belongs to you. I got faith. You mean you're going to kill your son? You gave it to me, didn't you? You mean you got the dead to bury? Let the dead bury the dead. Because there are some people in the family members that don't believe what you believe. So let them put up the money. Let them do the funerals. Right. Oh man. You say, Pastor, this is hard. Prophet, this is hard. Well, eat it hard and do it hard. So you can get a hard blessing. A great blessing. So hear what he says. He said, I have obeyed the voice of Yahweh, my Elohim. I have done according to all that I have that you have commanded me. And we're going to stop right here for a minute. And we go. And give me about 2 more minutes. I wanted to, because I'm trying to, let me just finish this, because next time, let me go through it while I'm here. Hear what he says. Look, from your set apart dwelling place, from the heavens, he said, and bless your people, Israel. He said, listen, I have done all this. So you now, master, with all of your wealth and all of your blessings that is stored up in heaven, I am expecting a blessing now. Because I have obeyed, I have not touched it, so now I could receive a blessing. Now I can depend on you. After I have done everything, after I give it all, Master, haven't you seen I lost weight? Well, maybe you needed to lose weight. Well, Master, can't you see I needed to buy new clothes? Well, maybe you do need to get some new clothes. Well, Master, can't you see I fasted? Well, maybe you needed to fast at that time so you can enjoy the blessing and the harvest that is coming. Well, Master, don't you understand? Oh, I give it all for you. Well, you needed to give it all so you can get a blessing from heaven. Because after obedience, then come the blessing. The blessing don't come because you gave. The blessing comes when you gave rejoicingly. The blessing don't come just because you give. The blessing it comes when you give all. The blessing don't come when you gave. The blessing comes when you completely obey and everything that you're supposed to do. You got a stick shift, and he said you got to drive it from first to second. You want to go from second to fifth, or from first to fifth. You're going to wreck the whole gearbox. How you going to do that? You better learn how to shift and move with the tide of the shifting. What is the master doing in the life? Move with the shift. Well, he wants me to shift, and I'm going to shift in his obedience so I can get a blessing. He wants me to do this. I'm going to do it. I'm going to shift so I can move up to the next gear. I'm going to shift so I can get up to fifth gear if I have it, or fourth gear. But I'm not going to try to jump and pass what he said to do.
Step by step.
Hear this and hear it well. Blessings. Look at this, what he says. Because he's about to tell you how he's going to bless you. He said, look, from your set apart dwelling place, from the heavens, not one, all of them, 3 of them, and bless your people. He didn't just ask for himself, he asked for all of the people now. Israel, and the land which you have given us, and you swore to our fathers. A land flowing with milk and honey. Today, Yahweh, your Elohim, commanding you to do those laws and right rulings, and you shall guard and do them with all your heart. He didn't say with some of your heart, with all of your heart, with all your being. You have today caused Yahweh to proclaim to be your Elohim. He says, you cause Yahweh to proclaim to be your Elohim by your giving, by your obedience, by your steadfastness. You have caused Yahweh to say, these are my people. Because when you don't obey him, he can't say that about you. When you don't obey and follow his command, he cannot say that these are my people. Oh no, because what is causing him to be proud of you is your obedience that is causing him to proclaim that he is truly your Elohim. And when you are disobeying him, he knows that you are the children of the devil and you're not his child because you are disobedient to the people. Then he said in the verse before that the evil one comes to confuse and bring evil and wickedness from the devil. When you join with them, you become a part of them in disobeying the master. He said, then he could be your Elohim. Right? He said, and to walk in his ways and guard his laws and his commands and his right ruling and to obey his voice. He said, and Yahweh has caused you to proclaim today to be his people. So you can testify now that I am his people because I am obeying, because I obey his voice. And yes, I am a treasure, not just his people, but I'm special. All right, children, I am special. I can proclaim a treasure. When somebody asks, are you better than me? Yes, tell them, say, yes, I'm treasured. I'm a treasured possession. Why? Because I'm obeying. I'm special. Why? Why do you think the master favor you? Because I'm treasured possession. Why? Because I'm obeying. Hear what it says. A treasured possession as he has spoken to you, and to guard all his commands, so as to set you high above all nations. So this is how you go in the heights. This is how you get up there. You get up there by obeying. And what is he talking about? He's not just talking about obeying the book, because he's talking about first fruits and tithes and offering. That's what he's talking about. So don't miss that and say, well, I am obeying. Because I have another scripture where he come to the rich young ruler and he said to him, he said, these are the commands that you're supposed to keep for salvation. The young man said, listen, I've done all of that. He says, well, now then sell all that you have and give it to the poor. He said, I can't do it. Now he could argue all he wanted to argue, but when coming to obey him, he's saying, I can't do it. So here, let's end this up right now. And what he says?
So
he says,
set you high above
so
all
as
nations.
to set you, everybody with me, let's say it together. Let's read this together. Come on.
So as to set you high above all nations, which he has made for a praise
and for a name.
And for an esteem, and for you to be a set apart people.
And for you to do what?
Be a set apart people.
And for you to be a set apart people.
To Yahweh your Elohim.
To Yahweh your Elohim.
As he has spoken.
As he has spoken. So he don't expect the other nations to do what he commands you to do. So when you see other people doing it, and other people are saying they're not supposed to do it, maybe they're from the other nations. Maybe that's why they don't want to do it. Maybe they're not his. Maybe they're from the other nations. Again, this is Prophet Reggie, and we're coming live from PowerPac Ministries. If you want to get in contact with us, the phone number is area code 813-317-6806. Shalom.